Samoa Joe comes out. So our first Joker is going to be revealed. And the crowd looks up. Who could it be? Who could it be? All the names are going through the Rolodex of potential options. And there it is in bright, bold letters. Johnny Elite. In the crowd, they see Johnny. And out walks Johnny Elite. Johnny Hennigan is out. And I will say, this was a very respectful crowd. They did not treat this like a letdown. They did chant for him during the match. But I thought that this was below people's expectations of who this Joker was going to be. And I think you set the bar when you're doing the mystery gimmick. You know what? You open yourself up that it better deliver in a big way. And I don't know that this one did. That said, I was open-minded, and I didn't think the match was all that great either.
Honestly, to me, it's such a reminder of the experience that I think we've all had with, the latest Marvel films, like a Doctor Strange 2, and how everybody in their minds sets up the wildest expectations of who is going to appear on this thing. And by the time that the movie comes around, they do deliver some of those surprises, but it's not the surprise that you want. It's not the surprise that you were thinking of. It's not maybe at the level. I mean, people were bringing up, Cesaro. People were bringing up Miro. I don't know how that would have been more satisfying than Johnny Elite. Miro is a member of the roster.
Cesaro would have been a huge...
Miro, I meant specifically.
Oh, Miro instead. I would say both of those would have gotten... bigger responses.
But Miro, how? Like, he's a guy that's always on the roster anyway. He's coming back. Beyond that, this spot was going to go to somebody who could afford the loss, and I don't think that should have been Johnny Gargano. I don't think that should have been even a Miro. I have to.
So should this have been the Joker spot, Joe's opponent? Why was this a mystery?
You need a mystery.
No, you don't. This would be the argument against it.
Well, I think there's an appeal to having a surprise entrant
if you can deliver on it.
So to Tony Khan,
the second everyone saw this Joker, most thought Cesaro. So to me, if you can't have something equal or greater than, then this is not the way to be introducing someone. I mean, you had weeks of people speculating.
Define most, I think that's subjective. I think to Tony Khan, Johnny Elite is a worthy surprise. Maki Ito to Tony Khan is a worthy surprise. And this is the point where I think, what do audiences want? Do we want to be surprised? Do we want to know, do we want to have some element of unpredictability? Or do we want, surprises that are crazy all the time? I think there's a happy medium, and this balance goes between, maybe Tony Khan not overhyping all the time and audiences tempering their expectations. I thought it was a perfectly satisfying, appearance here, but according to the audience, maybe they don't agree, because I think, they've kind of set their standard pretty high as far as surprise appearances go.
I think John Anakin, he's a great performer. He's a great wrestler. If he's showing up at a AAA show, at an Impact show, going to New Japan, I think cool. At AEW, does AEW need a John Hennigan?
No.
On its roster?
And I don't think this Joker spot is necessarily to introduce a full-time member. You have so many stories of guys that are already in this tournament that should be going on to win the tournament. Somebody like a Johnny Gargano coming in, losing, or even going ahead and making it to the finals only to lose to an Adam Cole. I don't think that's a great spot either. Now, that's not to say next year when you do the Owen tournament, you can't use it as a way to introduce somebody. But this year, I thought you have enough candidates to actually win the tournament that you don't need, somebody like an A-level Cesaro guy.
Well, Hennigan, early on, the crowd was into him. He hit this almost like Harlem hangover to the floor, and then they go through picture-in-picture. He avoids the muscle buster and hits a crucifix bomb, but then goes to the top, and he comes up short on the 450, which was unfortunate and led to a near fall. There's a Starship Pain onto the knees, and Joe fires away in the corner, muscle buster, and pins him in 10 minutes and 26 seconds. For all that said, I thought the audience was really into them. This was a great crowd. But to me, I didn't think this match was, even on what I would expect out of a Samoa Joe and John Hennigan, I don't think that this quite met that expectation.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I mean, it was certainly not a show-stealing match. It was a match, I think maybe above the standard of what you might see between these two on a Raw, but in Dynamite, like the standard is really high on a show when you've got like Adam Cole or Kyle O'Reilly versus Ray Phoenix. I mean, it's really hard to top. But I thought it was a satisfying opening round match.
Dr. Britt Baker is out, and the Joker is Maki Ito. They show a clip of them when they teamed together at Revolution 2021, and her entrance was great.
Always, yeah, absolutely.
It was really great. Baker comes over and hugs her, and then suggests that Ito lay down. Maki Ito explains this was the beginning of the end for WCW. We can't do that. Says, there's a merger going down. I don't think this is the best booking. So she lays down, but then tries to cradle Baker, and then they go right at it. Baker hits her with a forearm, and Ito starts crying from the forearm.
Yeah.
She steps on Baker's foot and gives her the middle finger, and then counters a lockjaw attempt. There's a "Let's Go Maki" DMD chant. They go through picture in picture. Ito is rammed into the turnbuckle, but it has no effect, so she smashes her own head into the turnbuckle and headbutts Baker. Tornado DDT for a 2 count. She tries for the Kokeshi, but Baker rolls over, but she holds onto her balance and then hits the Kokeshi. Baker gets up, super kick, and then gets her in position for the lockjaw, but before administering it, gives her the middle finger in exchange and submits her in 6:45. Baker advances. Fun match for what it was.
Yeah, I feel like, very similar to how I felt about the opener, in that it was a satisfying opening round match. Not the type of entrant that, is going to change this company. Might not even be an entrant that will stick around all that long after this, but I thought as a surprise, it was satisfying. I think in this case, this was the person that most people were expecting, and therefore I don't think they were disappointed that it was not like, name, Ember Moon or whoever. It delivered the surprise that people were expecting. It was in ring, I would say, an all right match. I think you kind of know the level that you're getting with Maki Ito, but very high on personality, which is what you got.